Hello, happy Friday. It is November the 7th. We have an exciting episode today. If you are a 25, 35 if you're interested in jewelry in general, we have Mary Khamis coming on to give a little bit of perspective on buying jewelry, whether you might be looking for that engagement ring, whether you're looking for, a fancy necklace, a great holiday gift this year. She gives us a rundown of what to look for when buying jewelry. If there's a, 25, 30-year-old in your life, send them this link. At the end, you're going to be an educated buyer. Really excited for that interview. Before we get into it, just a reminder, this episode of Get In is brought to you by Cluster Truck, Indy's go-to delivery kitchen. If you haven't tried Cluster Truck yet, you are missing out. They have over 100 menu items, everything from hand-stretched pizza to tacos, salads, breakfast burritos, and my personal favorite, their pad thai add chicken. They've got something for everyone, plus delivery is always free. Now here's the best part. If you order right now, by the time this podcast is over, your Cluster Truck order will already be at your door. It's that fast. So whether you're catching a game or just too busy to cook, head to clustertruck.com, order now, and use code INDY, I-N-D-Y, at checkout for 20% off orders of $25 or more. Trust me, your stomach's going to thank you. Reminder, that code is INDY, I-N-D-Y. Now let's get into the episode. But first, there is a ton of interesting Indiana news that has happened this week. Cheyne and I are going to dive into some of that, give you 3 of the top headlines that we're seeing, and we're going to just kind of debrief that a little bit because it's been a big week for the state of Indiana. First things first, the Colts are buying Sauce Gardner, coming to Indiana, going to be an Indianapolis Colt playing corner for us. Cheyne, what do we see?
This is a huge get for the Colts.
We're trading our first round 27.
2 first round picks.
And A.D. Mitchell.
And A.D.
gone.
Mitchell.
He's going to the Jets.
Off into the sunset with the New York Jets. That's
I
you go from 7-2 to what? 1-7.
I'm wishing him the best.
Yes.
I think that hopefully he can find a good fit up there. It's going to be interesting. I think there are going to be some Indianapolis, some Carmel Monon real estate that comes up for sale. Through the grapevine, I had heard that he had a few cool spots up in Carmel that are probably going to go on the market soon. So if there's a realtor out there, you probably need to get in touch. I think they're right along the Monon.
Right on the Monon.
Prime property. So if there's a realtor that listens to this, there you go. What do we see? What does this mean for the Colts season?
That loss to the Rams was frustrating. I mean, A.D. Mitchell's role in that loss, but just, on the road in L.A., it's tough. They go to Pittsburgh where they've struggled for decades. I think it's 2 wins all time in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
like 2-23 or something.
I saw something crazy that was like 1-16 since the 80s, maybe like something crazy.
Like for whatever reason, even during the Peyton Manning era and Andrew Luck and now you're on to Daniel Jones, like the Colts just can't win in Pittsburgh. And it felt like maybe this year's team is different. And Pittsburgh has, Aaron Rodgers on maybe the sunset season of his career, but they go to Pittsburgh and the turnovers pile up. 6 turnovers in the game. Daniel Jones accounted for 5 of those, 2 strip sacks, 3 INTs, but he had pressure in his face, something he really hadn't experienced through the first 8 games of the season. So the Colts,
something he has a lot of experience with,
yes,
in general.
When he was in New York, absolutely. So the Colts come off of kind of a reality check that, okay, we have an imperfect roster despite a 7-2 record. And Chris Ballard, general manager, who made some big moves already in the secondary coming into this season, like just this past offseason, shoves all his chips into the center of the table and says, all right, to heck with the draft picks. Don't care if it's first or second rounders, like ship those out the door because those are unknown. Those are college prospects that don't always pan out. And you've got a proven lockdown corner in Sauce Gardner now pairing up with Mooney Ward on the opposite side. You've got Kenny Moore, who's been around for close to a decade in a Colts uniform, still in the slot corner. Cam Bynum, Nick Cross, that secondary is really good. And the offense through the first 9 weeks has gotten all the attention. They've scored, 30-plus points in 6 of their 9 games. Now the defense is all of a sudden like, hey, we're not just going to put up points, but if we do maybe have an off game and only score 20, 24 points, the defense should be locked down. It's going to be exciting.
They're really putting all their chips on the table.
Heck yeah.
When it comes to this, which is not necessarily the Colts that we've seen.
No, it hasn't been their MO for the last, 6-7 years. It's true. Since
Stop.
Andrew Luck, they really
Yeah.
have it. Like they've pieced together the quarterback position. They identified Daniel Jones as not just a stopgap or a replacement for Anthony Richardson, but now showing that, hey, you bring in a guy like Sauce Gardner who's under control for a few more seasons after this year, that it's not just about 2025 and the 2026 Super Bowl. This is about the next 2 or 3 years to come. In this roster, you've got Jonathan Taylor in his prime. You've just got an exciting roster that you want to complement with pieces like Sauce.
It starts like do it for Jim.
It is.
It kind of
win
seems
for
like
Jim.
win for Jim. They're going all in. We've said the term, put their chips on the table, which is another interesting piece. Is we're talking about news across the state of Indiana.
Good transition.
Yeah, great. Come on. We're talking about the potential for a new casino in downtown Indianapolis. So I don't know if you've all seen the news here. This is what's going on. Down in Ohio County, there is the Rising Star Casino it's kind of fallen out of favor down there, and they're looking for a place to move it. And one of the front runners, I believe last year in 2024, they were thinking about taking it up to New Haven, up just outside of Fort Wayne. I believe there was already renderings, all this stuff, like going to put a casino up in the Fort Wayne area. Now it's looking like Indianapolis, downtown Indianapolis, is the front runner to get the Rising Star Casino, which is currently in Rising Sun. That license gets moved, and we're talking about bringing that to downtown Indy. And it is, some sides of the coin say this is a good thing, other sides say this is a bad thing. What we're seeing is there's 2 potential locations. One is there's some parking lots on South Street, across the street from Lucas Oil Stadium, could be a potential destination for it. The other is across those tracks in the Pan Am Plaza. That's another location where we could see...
Which was off of Illinois and Georgia.
Illinois and Georgia right there, where they're putting in the new Signia Hotel. This is interesting. I don't know. What's your initial thoughts to downtown casino for Indianapolis?
You get into the numbers, and you see the tax money that comes in from that, not just the revenue from the casino, but we're talking upwards of $700 million pumped into the city annually.
Yeah, so I think the number projected impact. This is I was reading the Indianapolis Business Journal article. It says $490 million in gross annual revenue, with $170 million in annual gambling tax revenue that would go into Marion County. That would go in. And we have all these big dreams and aspirations, but you got to figure out how to pay for this stuff. You talk about new soccer stadium. You're going to have to do some renovations to Lucas Oil at some point. It was a new stadium back when it opened, I believe.
08
season. Right? It's like this is now some time on it.
It'll add some juice to Indy for sure.
Yeah, and you talk about being able to pay for it. I think that's an interesting piece. You also talk about we welcome so many people in. This is a new attraction downtown. This whole 9 yards. What it does make interesting is you have Anderson just outside in the Donut County. You have Shelbyville. I don't know what it means for those. That's kind of a challenging predicament there.
For sure. And for Indianapolis, I mean, separating Anderson and Shelbyville's casinos and Shelbyville with the horse track, like Indianapolis has, I think it was the sports core in them just saying that they want to become the mecca of women's sports by 2050. Or they want to become the sports capital of the United States. This is a little linchpin that you could plug in and say, here's one more thing we can add to the city and the experience to become more than, I would say, Indianapolis. We're known as great hosts. I mean, we host NCAA Final Fours coming up next March, early April. We've hosted the NCAA College Football Championship just a few years ago. We had the entire March Madness tournament in Indianapolis coming out of the COVID year. So we are a great host for a number of events on the sporting scene, a great host for conventions as well. That convention center is pretty much around the clock every weekend of the year. So 52 weekends across the year, you've got something going on at the convention center and downtown hotels being filled. I think the biggest thing is when maybe a convention is going on in town, there not always being enough options for entertainment, or if you're only in town for a couple of nights and you're at the convention all day, say just from 9 to 5, where are you going to go eat? And then what are your plans after dinner before you've got to get back to your hotel room? Well, a casino kind of helps fill some of those voids that, hey, you're out with your coworkers or your friends, family, whatever. Like you can burn some hours that way.
It could help bolster it not just being a convention town. Like people go, you think about, I mean, the greatest example of this is like on, times 1,000, but it's Las Vegas. You go there and you're touring, you're doing tourism for the casino. This would be an interesting piece. And I think that there's the opportunity, and I want to go through this thought exercise of how you would build the perfect downtown Indianapolis casino. And I think it could also be the capital of watching sports, as well as, women's sports, amateur sports capital, and how this could fit into Sports Core, the CIB, like all of these things planned. So if I were designing the ultimate downtown casino in Indianapolis, obviously you take the base stuff. You have the slot machines, you have the tables, but you have to think about an elevated sports experience. I'm talking, have you seen Cosm? These are those, like, I don't even know what, but they're like these massive screens that make you feel like you're at the game. They're crazy. You've definitely seen, clips of this on Instagram, and there's one in Dallas, and it could be an insane addition. It's almost kind of like the Sphere in Las Vegas, but for watching sport. It makes you feel like you're in the end zone. The sound is there, and it could just be an awesome premium sports viewing experience. Because if let's say you come and visit Indianapolis, but there's no Pacers games, there's no Colts games, there's no Fever games.
Or they're on the road.
Or they're on the road. You get people in town that know that this is a sports city, and you create this, maybe we have multiple viewing options where you could have, okay, hear me out on this. On the rooftop of the downtown Indianapolis casino, you've got our own version of the stadium swim. A heated pool, like 4 Seasons, where people could get out there. Even if there was snow coming down, we figure out the way. Obviously, this is, not necessarily a pipe dream. This is, I don't know exactly the engineering behind it, but imagine giant rooftop screens where you can watch sports here in Indianapolis. Maybe a little swim up bar. Like that could be a power move. You talk about this new Signia Hotel. People are, traveling back and forth. They want to come be part of the Indianapolis Sports Swim. Maybe not stadium swim, sports swim.
I like sports swim.
Yeah, the sports swim. Come on. You have a little 1933 cocktail lounge on the roof. We might be onto something here, Shane.
I think you're onto something for sure. And they wouldn't just market that across the nation as like, hey, we've got this new casino and here's what it looks like. But the second someone comes in for a convention that is an out-of-towner and experiences it, they go home in just the word of mouth. Because that's what you do when you go to a Vegas or you go to a Nashville or you travel. You come back and you tell your friends and family about the trip, what went well, what didn't go well. And if you have a otherworldly experience at Indianapolis's downtown casino, and there are these elements to it that are unique or one of a kind, that would do the city very well.
Yeah. And
it would just encourage people to come in.
And you think about like all the, like imagine Sports Swim, the Indy 500 experience for Sports Swim. You have 300,000 people coming to Speedway for the race. You figure out a deal there. You got people at Sports Swim hanging out there. Like it just creates this premium feel, and you could market it as the greatest place for sports. Whether you're watching sports, live sports, you're watching sports at this new venue, it could really be powerful. I think that if we think big and market it as this is the sports capital, whether you're watching, whether you're playing youth sports up in, Westfield, everything sports is Indiana, is Indianapolis. That could be pretty fun, man.
And I think one other touch I would add just to that sports, either sports book or when you come in through the casino, if you're leaning into the sports scene, is I think of Caesar's Palace down in Vegas, and there's all the sculptures and statues. I would target like a Mount Rushmore of Indiana athletes, whether they're from Indiana originally or had significant impact for any of our professional sports teams. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of Indiana athletes? Peyton Manning, Larry Bird.
I mean, you got to put Reggie Miller in there.
You going 2 basketball?
Right? I mean, you just think of all-time Indiana GOATs.
And it doesn't just have to be 4.
No, like but if they were just
you go through Caesar's Palace, there's statues everywhere.
You had these statues all around. I mean, we have no shortage. I wonder, like, what criteria does it take to get? Because it's like, well, do we make a Caitlin Clark statue? And it's like, maybe. Like maybe, I don't know.
Do you wait till she's a Hall of Famer or
or do you like call your shot a little bit early? Like think about all the people. You have like John Wooden. There are some insane athletes that have come through Indianapolis that you could, give a little tribute to them there. You could make this just a spectacle. I'm all in on spectacles. I think that there's a lot of potential here. At the end of the day, though, when you think about like the economics and stuff behind it, there's a lot of big visions that the city of Indianapolis has from an MLS team. Obviously, the Capital Improvement Board. I'll let you do your own research on all that jazz. But it's like I think in the article they said it's intriguing to see, and they see the tourism potential. They have to fund a lot of these improvements. This is a way. Increase tax revenue could be an interesting way to bring that to life. Yeah, bottom line, this is an option. Fort Wayne is still an option. Ideally, though, this is what it is. There is an underperforming casino license down in Ohio County. We have to do a whole other episode about what losing that casino means to Ohio County.
It's going to be tough.
I don't know. It doesn't seem great there.
No.
I think that there's definitely some stuff that happened down there to bring industry to that place, because I would be curious on how many jobs are tied to the Rising Star Casino in Rising Sun.
A couple hundred, I'd think. Maybe more.
And I wonder how many households are loosely connected to that. So something to keep your eye on. This is not a done deal. We are not saying there is 100% going to be a casino in downtown Indianapolis. We're saying, though, it's an option. And I think it could be a very fun option if we market it right.
It's like Dumb and Dumber. You're telling me there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. Other big Indiana news locally here in Indianapolis, Circle City Broadcasting, that is the owner of WISH-TV. They bought WISH-TV, 2019. I believe it was like $42.5 million in 2019. Circle City Broadcasting just announced that they're acquiring WRTV-6 for...
That's the ABC affiliate.
This is the ABC affiliate. I believe, what was the number there?
83?
83 million. I believe
so
that's
it's 42 and 83. I think it was 125 was the
they have
overall investment.
So 83 million. Circle City Broadcasting announces the $83 million acquisition of WRTV. This is interesting. Those are numbers, I believe, 3 and 4 in the market. They're now going to be under the same ownership group. So obviously, you have the CBS.
You got Fox 59, CBS 4 in the same building.
Yep.
Same ownership group.
Yep.
WTHR 13.
Yep.
NBC affiliate.
Yep.
Also off Meridian, closer to downtown, and then WISH and RTV6.
This has been interesting. So, I've seen a lot of articles. 20 plus employees have resigned or were terminated due to this new non-compete agreement going on with
which was
WISH-TV.
Earlier this summer.
Yes, and it's continued to slowly. In the most recent one.
Just Wednesday this week.
Yeah. Scott
Sander.
20
years.
20 years at WISH-TV. I think he kind of is calling this his retirement. Interesting to see. I don't know the mix-up of, how many on-screen versus the production versus if you have two companies coming together, what that means. All I know is this is going to shake up local traditional media here in the city of Indianapolis. 125 million on the line from both acquisitions. It'll be interesting to see how they move forward here. I don't know. What do you make of this?
Well, I think you're seeing whether Scott Sander, and I don't want to speak for him, but there's already bounce back emails coming from his WISH-TV email address in the IBJ article that you were reading up on Wednesday, and it's like, is that the first domino to step down? And that's a staple. That is a guy who you are seeing on your TV every morning if WISH-TV is the channel that you tune into. And, Monday through Friday, Scott Sanders bringing you local news coverage, good and bad. And he steps down. And like you said, early retirement, but maybe he had heard of this potential acquisition of RTV6 and you just think, okay, this is my chance or this is my opportunity to wipe my hands clean of what's going on with Circle City Broadcasting, whether you like it or you don't like it, and it's just him getting out. Will he be the first and last? I don't think so.
Yeah. The other piece that's interesting is Nexstar, they are buying Tegna. So Nexstar Oh my gosh. So Nexstar
That's
is
the THR.
Yeah, that's Fox 59.
Oh,
And
yes.
CBS 4. That's
Yes.
Nexstar. And WTHR is owned by Tegna.
Tegna.
And so I believe Nexstar Media Group's doing a $6.2 billion acquisition of Tegna. So this would mean in Indianapolis, that deal is set to close late 2026. But that would mean two companies, Circle City Broadcasting and Nexstar Media, own all 5 of Indianapolis's major TV news outlets. Kind of interesting. So Circle City Broadcasting would have WISH, WRTV, and Nexstar would have Fox 59, CBS 4, and WTHR 13.
Fox 59 and WTHR 13. They're the two big fish in the pond. That's your number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think WISH and WRTV are 3, 4. I'm not sure where CBS 4 slots in, but I know their viewership is much lighter than the other station in the building.
So I know that there's this whole thing. There's some interesting stuff. Read the IBJ article, get versed on this, but just know that there's something interesting happening with local legacy news here in Indianapolis, and it's just something to monitor. I mean, with 2 organizations have all 5 news outlets, that's just something to keep your eye on as you're as your resident of Indiana.
Well, in both locations, too, for the Circle City Broadcasting stations in particular, WISH-TV and WRTV-6 are almost side by side. They're off Meridian between about, what would that be, like 10th and 21st, and they're on the same side of Meridian, within walking distance, really, of one another. I don't know how they merge the two or if they operate them as separate entities. I guess that's something we'll find out.
I'd be eager to see how this all shakes out and what that means for local media and for all of us as, I don't know how many people are turning on the news, but whether it's apps or, on social media, whatever it is there, keep your eye open there. So those are 3 headlines. Sauce Gardner's coming to Indy, potential new casino either in downtown Indianapolis or in Fort Wayne, and Circle City Broadcasting, the owner of WISH TV, is acquiring WRTV. Is that ABC?
Yes.
Yeah. So those are that's that. There you go. Now we're going to get into our interview with Mary Khamis, where we're talking all things jewelry. If you are even thinking about engagement rings, this is the episode for you. Today's episode of Get In is brought to you by Cowpokes Work and Western, baby, a local Indiana shop that has built its name on quality clothing and boots that fit your American lifestyle. They carry trusted brands of boots, hats, and clothing that work just as well for everyday life as they do for a night out. What I love about Cowpokes is how approachable they make your experience. You can walk in not knowing a thing about a pair of boots or a hat, and the staff will get you fitted with something that looks good and lasts. For me, that's the difference between a one-time purchase and something you keep reaching for over and over. If you're ready to upgrade your boots, your wardrobe, or even just your go-to jacket, Cowpokes is a place that we send people. Today, I'm joined by Mary Khamis Rowe. She is our resident expert in the diamond business. Today, we're talking all things bling. We're talking diamond rings. We're talking maybe some jewelry questions. So Mary has been in the jewelry business since 1978. They're a spot up in the Geist area, up there on the north side of Indianapolis, and she has been our resident jeweler here. Her and Cheyne have experience together from that wasn't engagement ring side. That was like award ceremony ring side. But we're excited to have you on today. One thing we know about our audience, we have a lot of male listeners in that 25 to early 30s range that might be thinking about popping a big question at some point in the near future. And what we want to do is talk about how that process is going to look, what that looks like, and what are questions that people are asking, and how can we help them avoid mistakes that guys around the world are making. Mary, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you here. So the first thing, right, we start with a relationship. Mm-hmm. And, some guys start to think like, man, I think it might be time to pop that question. How long ahead of a proposal date? So let's say we'll just use even New Year's Eve 2025. That was their date. How much in advance do they need to start thinking about? Like, this isn't like Amazon 2-day shipping, is it?
Well, it could be.
Really?
If it's December 28th, at least a month. I would think, depending on what they want. If we're going to have to custom make a ring, that can take 4 to 6 weeks. or
Okay.
at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If it's something they pick out of the case and they pick the diamond, within a week we can have it set.
Okay, so that depends on if you come in there and you're like, oh, that's the exact one that I want,
Right.
versus you want one like. So if you had to say typical timeline, say if you have a custom one, 3 to 4 a month,
At least a month.
At least a month.
Yes. Especially
Okay.
that time of year.
Oh yeah,
Christmas time.
that's
But
true.
normally-
Wait, what time of year is like where are there the most proposals?
The holidays on into spring.
Holidays into
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah, spring's usually the engagement time.
So it's like
and into
summer.
summer.
Okay.
Into summer. Yeah.
And then
it's
like,
all year.
All year round.
You know.
There's not like a specific time of the year though where you feel like, oh, we're just swamped in engagements.
Usually the first half of the year.
First half of the year. That makes sense. I feel like around Valentine's Day and then like going forward too. I feel like it's like New Year's, Christmas, Thanksgiving, like that time period. Then there's a little bit of a break, and then it's like Valentine's Day, that time frame. It's like no one's getting engaged on the 28th of January.
Unless it means something to them.
That's fair. You're right. You're right. How should that process look? So should I walk into the store not having any conversations? Well, maybe like I have the conversation that she's going to say yes. Let's just assume that she's saying yes.
Let's hope she does.
Do I? Yeah, right. Do you walk in by yourself without talking ahead of time? Like how does it work?
Well, we get it all. We get the guy comes in by himself. The mother comes in with the guy. Ooh. Sometimes the girl's sisters or friends will come in with the guy. It just depends on the relationship, and their dynamics and everything. But usually it's the guy, and he's out there getting the preliminary. Okay, well, she's told me before she wants an oval diamond or a round, and she's fine with lab.
What are the questions that you as the guy need to gather before you walk in there? And when you walk up to the counter, what do I say?
A lot of the girls will be looking on Pinterest and putting things on their Pinterest board and stuff. And so sometimes the guys will talk to the friends, or maybe he can access her Pinterest so that.
So we need to get the Pinterest login.
Yeah, because that's usually where the girls are looking.
Yeah.
And or she verbally has told him, I just want a simple round diamond in a yellow gold mounting, and that's it.
What are the different types of diamonds, of stones? Like when I would go to buy shoes, let's say, I would know size, like color and style.
Right.
But for a diamond, I have no idea. When you're saying rounds,
That's a good
and this,
beginning.
that.
That's a good beginning. The round or oval is the actual shape of the stones.
Okay.
Or the cutting of the stone. It's a round or a marquee.
So that'll be like the main gem in there, what that looks like.
Yes.
So like what are the different types?
There's round brilliant. There's oval, marquee.
What's marquee?
Marquee is pointed on each end.
Oh.
Like top and bottom is
Yeah.
pointed like
Okay.
this. A pear shape is like a teardrop shape.
Yep.
And usually we need to know what shape they're going to want.
What's like the traditional, like when you think of the old school engagement ring from the 1960s?
Well, it's usually the round, but it depends. Like a lot in the 90s and the early 2000s was marquee shape.
Yeah.
The one pointed on both ends.
Yep.
All of them go in and out of style like every 10, 15 years, except for the round. The round's always number one. It's always,
Timeless.
yes, it's the most brilliant out of all the other ones.
So what's really popular? What are like the fads you're seeing in 2025?
Simple mountings and a big diamond.
What does a mounting mean?
The mounting's the actual ring, the metal that holds the stone.
Okay. So we have the stone and we have the mountings.
Right.
Are those the two different components of a ring?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that you can get your stone, whether you said the teardrop shape, you said marquee, you said round, all the oval, all the stuff. And then you have the mountings, which would be everything that's not the stone.
Right.
Okay.
Some people want little diamonds on the side. Some want it swirl. Some want it braided. Just the style of it, and some just want it simple. But lately, it's been the simple style. We have done several of the other ones. 10 years ago, it was the big wide mounting, some pave look, and all that. It's all the small, simpler mountings.
So small and simple.
On the mounting.
Okay.
Big diamond, but small mounting.
Big, yeah, of course. Big diamond, small mounting. So you go in there, you collect this information. Do you know what kind of stone? What is that? How it's cut? That's how you call that?
Well, how the shape of it.
The
cutting
shape.
of it.
Okay.
Yes.
So we want to know the shape and we want to know what kind of mountings. Those are the two.
And on the mounting, it's usually white gold or yellow gold. We need to know.
White
if you want
gold?
yellow or white.
Are there different like colors of diamond?
Or color is one of the 4 C's that
Okay.
you look at when grading a diamond.
Okay. What are the 4 C's?
Cut, color, clarity, and carat weight.
Okay. Let's go through there. What does cut mean?
Cut can mean 2 things. Cut is the actual shape of the stone,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's the way the stone has been cut and faceted.
Okay.
Okay, that's the most important thing. Is the most important thing on a diamond is its brilliance. You want to be able to see it from across the room and it's sparkling at you.
Yes.
Okay? That's the number one thing is the brilliance. What gives it the brilliance is the cutting of the stone. Let's take a round because that is the most brilliant. The way the facets align with each other and at certain angles and the bottom of the pavilion, which is the bottom part of the diamond, the way everything aligns, it has to, what we call an ideal cut, okay? It retains the maximum brilliance. Diamond is like a prism of light, okay? Light enters the stone, bounces off the sides, and comes out the top. And then once it hits the air, you get all the fire and scintillation, it's called, and the dispersions and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what happens if it's not cut proportionally correct, okay, then it can, when the light comes down, if it doesn't hit this facet within its critical angle to bounce off, to hit the other side, and then again, the critical angle to come up, through the diamond, you're going to lose it through the bottom or the sides.
Oh.
So, like, you can have a 1 carat diamond that is this big, and this big. They all are 1 carat because the carat weight is the actual volume of the stone, the weight of it, not the dimensions. Okay. So, on a stone that's cut like this, it's going to be deeper. Okay, you're going to lose a lot of light out the sides, the underneath. You want it to come back up to the top because that's what you're looking at is the top of the diamond. If it's wide, you can lose a lot of it out the sides and bottom.
Okay.
So the ideal make, it's going to come back up, and then disperse into the colors. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the most brilliant, the diamond, the cutting on it, the better cutting, the better the brilliance.
You're not necessarily judging the quality just by the size. Like you could go put a huge rock, but if it doesn't sparkle, if it doesn't catch your eye from across the room, like that's what you're looking for.
Right.
Okay, so we went through, that's cut.
To me, cut is the most important.
Okay.
Okay, then you have clarity and color. And then the carat weight I kind of talked about is the actual weight of the stone, like 2 carat and someone like a 1/2 carat.
So that has to do with density almost? Like it could be
It's the volume.
The volume.
Yes.
Okay.
We
But
weigh
not
the
necessarily how big it is.
Right, not
how heavy
6
it is.
millimeters or
Yeah.
10 millimeters. It goes by how much it weighs.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because a 6 millimeter stone could have 4 millimeter depth or 5 millimeter depth, and so it would weigh more.
What? How did they get to the name Carat?
It actually derived from the carob seed because they were all pretty uniform. This is thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. They would see how many carob seeds it weighed. They would compare it.
Oh.
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
That's what we
Okay.
were taught 30 years ago.
There you go. That was the rules. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have carat, which is the weight.
The weight. And then clarity is the amount of imperfections in the stone. Okay. There are different types of imperfections, and these all formed in natural diamonds. They all formed while a diamond is made of carbon.
Yeah.
Okay. And all it is crystallized carbon.
Under a ton of pressure, right? Like
Well,
that's the
high
whole
pressure, high temperature.
high
Yes.
pressure. So that's what they say: no pressure, no
HPHT.
diamonds.
Right. And that's why it took millions of years. Well, there was like a little garnet next to that carbon when it was crystallized, and sometimes that gets locked into the stone or whatever the host rock where the diamond was forming sometimes can do that. And then sometimes with the pressure, it can create like little, I don't want to use the word cracks, but little...
Yeah,
we
imperfections.
don't like that word.
Yeah, right.
It makes it sound like the diamond's going to crack. So there's inclusions inside the stone, okay? The amount of those inclusions will determine like if it's clean to the naked eye, if you can see inclusions in it with your naked eye. On the clarity, you start with like flawless and internally flawless, and then you have very, very slightly included. I'll explain this. Very slightly included, and then I1, 2, and 3, which are more imperfect stones. We don't like to use that word either. Included stones that you can see the inclusions with your naked eye. Okay, so some people want just size. They don't care about the clarity, to the extent where, a nice I1 or an included stone that you can see the inclusion is perfectly fine with them. It's a way to identify your stone, these inclusions, okay? Because natural ones, no two are exactly alike, okay?
Wait, and then on lab grown, can they be the exact same thing?
Yes, because you can basically dial it in,
Okay.
it's no romance,
Yeah.
It's natural. On a slightly included stone, from slightly included into included, the difference is you can see it with your naked eye. 18 inches apart, 20/20 vision. That's how we grade diamonds, okay? So if you can see it with your eye, it's an included stone, and then just varying degrees, like you can barely see it, but you can see it. Yeah, it's more noticeable would be an I2, and an I3 looks like a road map. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Then going on the other way, the slightly included stones, once you have we got to go to 10 power magnification, okay, a loop. And if the inclusions are noticeable, they're an SI stone. If they're more difficult to locate, then they're VS. And if it's like one little minute pinpoint, then it's a very, very slightly included. And then you have internally flawless and flawless. No inclusions at 10 power magnification. Some people say, well, I want to get a flawless diamond because she's flawless. Well, first of all, no, she's not. And second of all, why pay for something you can't see? When you get into the VVS and the flawless, you're paying bigger money for it. Where if you go down to the VS, the SI, or even a nice I1, you're going to be able to go either bigger or better color or better make on your stone.
Well, because I think it's just like a lot of uneducated consumers. Like this is why we're doing this, right? It's like you're focused on like building a nurtured relationship, and it's like I don't have any experience. I've never done anything like this. Never gone in there and talked even to a jeweler. Because I was like, one day you'll just have to go do that. So going in there and being like, okay, give me the flawless. I only want the best, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's like, well, learning what the best means, and do you want to go bigger size, bigger carat, bigger this, that, color, cut? Like, there's just so much to it. So, first thing is in this process, we collect shape and we collect mountings. Once we have that,
and then we need a budget.
We need a budget. Okay, so this is the age-old question. What's the right budget to spend on an engagement ring?
It's been around for, 30 years or so, that it's always like a 2-month salary.
Yeah.
Okay, I have people spending a week's salary, and then I have people spending a whole year's salary. It just depends.
Yeah.
What they're going to be comfortable with.
I'd always heard, 3 months salary.
Every 3 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
But where did that come from? Was that was that made from a marketer? Someone back in the day?
Probably, or De Beers or somebody. Yeah.
Okay, so if you had to say, let's say on average, the average 30-year-old, let's say 30-year-olds are getting married, what's the average 30-year-old spending on an engagement ring?
You know what? I've got 30-year-olds that are spending between $5,000 and $20,000.
Okay.
So I think it just depends.
I feel like that was somewhere in the range. Where it's
most of them are around 10.
Yeah, you end up 10. When you think about it, 10 grand is a lot of money to put into a ring.
Yes, but it's also for your future.
To not know. Again, goes back to the whole ethos of this podcast. It's not that it's not worth it. You just don't know what you're buying. I just don't know.
You don't want to get ripped off.
Yeah.
It's like, I could have bought this for half the price,
Yeah, and it's do you want to go to the pawn shop and get the $2,000 ring? You can do, there are plenty, and let me say plenty of failed marriages out there, and you can go get a ring from a pawn shop. But I don't know if I don't want that juju. I don't want to start with bad karma. Yeah. Okay, so we're let's just say 10 grand. Okay. 10 grand's the budget. We say the average 30-year-old spending somewhere between 5 and 20. We're in at 10. When you go in there with a $10,000 budget and you have your shape, your mountings. Let's say someone's listening to this podcast that's not in Indiana, because if they are in Indiana, they're going to come to Khamis Fine Jewelers. But if they're in Denver,
we do long distance.
Oh,
so yeah,
there you go. When they come in, what do they need to say to the counter? How do they get this process rolling and make sure that they are getting a fair and honest experience in stone and diamond and ring?
I try and discuss everything with them about the diamond, what they're looking for, and all this and that. I get their trust.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to have trust in the jeweler. One of the first things I ask on the 10 grand is, do you know if she wants lab or natural? Okay, that's a big thing. The last 3 years.
And take us through, what's the difference between lab and natural grown diamond?
The $25,000 2-carat, whatever shape, nice diamond is only going to be these days maybe between $2,000 and $5,000, depending on what it is in a lab. Now the prices of lab keep going down. Okay, that's why I don't stock them. I know some jewelers that do. I don't stock them because of a business point. Why would I buy this for $5,000 when 2 months from now it's only going to be $4,000? You know? I'd rather just buy it at the $4,000 at that time, when I needed it. And then again, on having a lot of diamonds in stock,
yeah, right,
it's a lot of money.
Well, talk to us though about the mindset behind it, whether you go with a natural diamond or you go with the lab grown. What are the pros and cons that buyers are weighing when they're going through that?
So other than money aspect of it, it's like we're saying on a natural, it's a symbol of love, your future, your relationship.
It's
and
a
all
one
that.
of one, right?
Right. They're unique. You don't have two natural diamonds that are exactly alike. On the lab growns, you can. Most of them are VS quality. There's hardly any inclusions in there. They're top of the line color. It's not rare. There's millions of them.
Yeah.
Which is one reason why the prices keep dropping.
Yeah. What do you see? Do you see the trend? I feel like for a while the trend was a lot of lab grown, and it might still be that way. But I do feel like there is a piece of you're only going to do this one time, hopefully, right? Yeah. Where it's I don't know, not going. I go, who just love a good deal?
Okay, so your first time, but she just wants a big stone. That's what's important to her.
Yeah.
You don't have that big budget, then you do the lab. A lot of the younger adults don't. They think differently than all the, it's a million years to make the stone and stuff like that. They just want that big look.
Yeah.
Go big or go home.
Yeah.
So
versus the thinking about the process that went into versus growing it in a year. And I don't even know, how long does it take to grow a lab?
A week.
A week?
A month.
Oh gosh. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Versus a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say we find out that we're not going lab grown, we're going normal. Okay. So you come in there, you got your $10,000 budget, you know that you want a round, and you know that you have a specific kind of mounting, and then the gold. What color? Right?
Yeah, you want yellow gold or white gold, or platinum.
Which also I always said I thought it was silver. It's you want.
I know a lot of people say I want silver. I'm like, yeah, no, you don't. You
so it's either white gold, white gold, yellow gold, or platinum.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what's most popular?
Right now, yellow gold. The last 10 years, white gold. Now, the past year or two, yellow gold. It's made a comeback. I don't think it ever left, but it's made a comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the girls are picking yellow gold. There are some white gold still.
Okay.
So, yeah. And it kind of depends on your skin color, too, sometimes. When I was younger, I have an olive complexion, and I thought, I'll never wear white gold. I'll always wear yellow. Most of my jewelry's white gold. Now, so.
Funny how that comes around full circle.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have all that. We come in with our budget, and how do we start going through that process?
Well, then I start showing him the stones. We had to pick out a stone. And depending, on the budget and everything, like you said, 10 grand or whatever we're looking at, maybe carat and a half, something like that.
Okay. And what would be the difference where we're going to say I need a $10,000 diamond. You're going to bring out 4 different options for us. What are we comparing and contrasting there? What are we looking for?
Okay. That's when we discuss the 4 C's.
Yeah.
I can show him 2 carat diamonds, and one of them, their inclusion is going to be off to the side. The other one's going to be smack dab in the middle, but they're both rated the same, like an SI stone. That's when, sometimes I can see that in the middle. That may bother me, so we'll go with the one on the side. So it's location of the inclusions. It's the way they're cut, not only the ideal make, but the symmetry of the stone. Do the facets line up the way they're supposed to? Is the girdle real thick, which is the outer circumference of the diamond, real thick or real thin? Because that's a susceptible point for chipping. Okay, so you got to watch that. We look at the 3 or 4 different diamonds, and sometimes the diamond will just speak to you. It'll say, pick me, I'm the one. And they'll say, that's the one.
When you have guys that come in there, what questions do the most intelligent or educated diamond shoppers ask?
When they already know the lingo.
Yeah.
You know, they know about clarity and color and everything. And I'll ask them where they learned it, and they said on the internet. I said, okay, so let me tell you the real.
Yeah, right. Like, where'd you
Okay.
learn?
Yeah, the only one online that I would like listen to or whatever would be GIA, the Gemological Institute of America.
GIA?
Not Blue Nile or any of those places that are selling diamonds.
No, you need to get
Yes.
from
So,
GIA.
yeah.
That's where you can do research on diamonds.
Yes, you can look up all
Okay.
this stuff. Yeah, I'm a graduate gemologist from GIA.
Okay.
My graduate gemologist degree is from there. So yeah.
So, I mean, you have some experience when it comes to diamonds.
Yeah.
Okay, so we come in there, we're looking at color. You're going to see, if you're going natural, there's going to be imperfections, but it doesn't mean, I guess imperfections, again, you said you don't really like that word. Or like,
Yeah.
but there's going to be uniqueness to each of these diamonds. And it's,
fingerprint.
yeah, right. And it's your job as the consumer to feel like, well, what's the story behind that? Do you like it? Does it speak to you? All those different things. Because that uniqueness is what helps tell the story, right? It's what helps know that there's no other, it's like a snowflake, right? There's no other one of these
Exactly.
that exist.
Yes.
Okay. So you go through the process. Let's talk about like actually putting the rubber to the road. Am I like walking in there? I'm bringing all this information. How do I find out like what size ring to get? Like, how do you do that without like alarming anyone? What are the sizes of
Sometimes
rings?
they know, and if she knows it's to the point in their relationship, she will hint to him, "I'm a size 7. I'm a size 6." You know.
Okay, so this is a numbered size. Anyone out there that's not small, medium, large, there are numbers.
There's numbers,
From
yes.
what to what?
1 to
So there's a 1. There's like someone if they have
one
tiny,
is
tiny.
teeny tiny.
Yeah,
You know.
okay.
Most average size in the U.S. is between 6 and 7.
Okay.
So a lot of our stock rings
Yep.
are between a 6 and 7, but we can go down or up, usually 2 sizes without remaking the whole.
Is
ring.
there a way to like sneakily
Yeah.
find out the size of her?
Like if she wears a ring already, you know, a guy will say, "Oh, let me try it on." I don't want to say this because then the girls are going to know what he's doing. But
Well, no, don't worry.
you know, you can
No
see-
women listen to this podcast,
Oh, okay.
right? This
Well, I do.
Yeah, right. No, but the majority of it is dudes. Let's be honest. Okay.
So, you know, kind of compare her hands to yours. What I've done before is that, like, the guy picks out a ring. Then we're talking about the size. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, so this comes to here on me. Okay. So let me put it on your hand. And a lot of times it's to his pinky, you know, or
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere. That'll kind of give us an idea what his finger is, and he can compare his finger to hers. Sometimes you got to ask her mom. Sometimes you got to ask the friends.
Okay, yeah. So
You
you
know,
got to
or-
do a little due diligence. Do a little
Or
work.
we try not to size it if we're not exactly sure, because the least amount we're sizing the ring, the better.
Okay.
But we also want it to be big enough for her to put on during the proposal.
Yeah, because that would be so bad.
Yeah, then it goes right here. It's like,
And you're
oh.
like, oh.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait, did you just call me fat? Like, is that? And then you were in like a whole new can of worms. Okay, so talk to mom, talk to friends. Do
You can.
some self-sizing. I like that. The other piece, okay, so we get there. We know the size. We know all the information. We have all the details. Is it like, okay, now I swipe my credit card, I bring you cash in a duffel bag? Like, how do you pay for a $10,000? Like, because
I've seen all of the above.
well, because like you think whether you buy like a house or you buy like you wire money for a house, you know, I don't know, and like some people's like I don't know if their credit card limit is $10,000. You know,
So we offer or honor all the credit cards.
Yeah.
You know, all the different cards out there. We can do check. We do cash. We don't have our own financing.
Yeah.
You may try that at your own bank. I don't know if that'd be real good, but we have before put on like 3 different credit cards because they wanted the points on all their cards.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Well, and you gotta like sometimes
We call that
if you-
creative
if you
financing.
creative finance, and if you're like if you like have blended finances or like someone's like looking at you gotta make sure
Yeah,
it's hidden.
Yeah, you gotta be
okay.
careful.
That's good to know. But is it like okay?
You don't have to. Usually, you don't have to pay out right then and there.
Okay.
Some people do.
Maybe
if they
put
want
like
to. Sure, I'll take your money.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
But once we pick out the diamond and the mounting, sometimes we'll get like half down. We got to get something down for us to actually put it into the mounting.
If you're gonna start going, well, because the interesting
the
piece is that so your store is in like the Geist area,
Geist, yeah.
but where you actually produce the rings didn't you say it was down by Bloomington?
No, that's one of my jewelers.
Oh, one of your okay.
I have 2 jewelers. I have a jeweler in store, and I have
Yes.
a friend of mine who's a jeweler in Bloomington. She just has her own workshop.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
so sometimes I'll send things to her, and then other things we do here at the store.
Wow.
So, yeah,
I mean,
just-
that is just, I don't even know how you would go about like creating a ring. I just think that that's like the one of the craziest professions to be
It's
able to
pretty
like
cool.
assemble that and like keep everything secure in there and make it look so elegant. Incredible. Okay, so we get to the point now. How do you get the ring without alarming your significant other? Like, do you have advice or suggestions? How do you see people? Do friends pick it up? How does that work?
Well, no, usually the guy picks it up. Some guys have us hold it until it's the time.
Okay.
We have a lot of husbands that do that like a Christmas presents. You know, they buy it in actually like in November, and it's like, oh, he'll give it to her that night. So we keep it and we call him on the 23rd of December. You know, come get your
Yeah.
thing. We do that with the guys. Usually the guys will have a good hiding spot.
Yeah.
Or they may have his parents
Yeah.
hold it for them.
That's
It just
interesting. Though.
depends.
Well, it's good to know that it's like, okay, let's say you could order it a month in advance, and then pick it up. Let's say 28, like 2 days before,
Sure.
versus having to keep it for 6 months or whatever timeline that is.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
really good.
Usually, when the ring is done, we call them to come in.
Yeah.
And that's usually when they pay the balance, if there is one. And then if we need to hold it, we hold it for them.
Yeah.
I once held a ring for over a year.
For over a year. Wow. How did that work?
Well, it worked out great. They have 2 kids. They're living the life.
Yeah,
They're doing
good for
great.
them. But they were just
that's
a little bit.
story for
well,
another day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it because that the guy was just so eager and it just took him a while to? Did
Well,
he like, have to build up some confidence?
Different things happened in their life, and he was waiting for the right time.
There you go.
You know, but his mom kept asking me, hey, did he get a ring yet? You know, and I'll say, you know, he was in the store, but he didn't walk out with anything. You know, which I didn't lie. It's still in the safe, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
One of the other interesting pieces that I know that you particularly specialize in is kind of like incorporating the family heirlooms into these modern pieces. A big thing that's popular, right, is, you know, maybe your grandmother had a specific piece, or maybe your mom or whoever might,
Right.
and that gets to pass down through the
Handed
family.
down, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how do you take that and honor this legacy family piece with a new modern, because it's like, I mean, I feel like the comparison is like a lot. There are a lot of really cool looking older wedding dresses that not every young bride wants to wear.
Same with the rings.
Yeah, right.
Okay, especially from like the 60s and 70s and 80s. They're these old waterfall rings and everything. And they're like, yeah, it's not my style. Well, so we have a saying, the diamond is forever, the mounting is not.
Yeah.
Okay, the ring is not.
Yeah.
So and you can do this for an engagement ring too. Actually, we just sold one a couple weeks ago. They had it was a larger diamond, and it was from her family. Her grandmother, I think, had it. And so the guy came in with his mom and with her mom. She still did not know about it. And
That
she
sneaky
offered
guy.
to use that diamond if it was good quality, you know, and everything. And I looked at him like, yeah, I would want this, you know.
Yeah.
So all they bought was the mounting, you know, when we set her diamond in there.
Yeah.
So, but on the we get a lot of customers coming in with, I inherited all this jewelry. It's not my style, but I love this ring or this stone in it. What can we do? And then that's when I say, well, we can pull whatever stones you want to use, and we'll make a new ring. And we talk to them. What kind of ring do you want? Do you want something going straight across? You want a curve to it? You know, do you want earrings to match and a necklace?
Yeah.
Depending on how many stones you have. I mean, we've had one customer, we've made 4 different pieces so far.
Holy.
For the daughters and the wife, you know.
Yeah. So let's say you brought in a ring. Will you like melt down the old mountings, or you just like get rid of those? How does that work?
If they request us to, we try not to, just because the gold, remelting the gold sometimes can create porosity, which are little pits in the metal, without having it refined first, and it's not worth it, this little amount of gold, to have it refined to do this.
Yeah.
So we give them credit for it and use new gold.
'Cause then
or we will use their gold, but tell them if there's porosity or something, we can't do anything about it. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes we can, but still. And they're like, no, just give me new gold. You know,
Yeah.
they're going to wear it every single day, and this is going to be.
Do
their
you
new
see a
ring.
lot of, maybe you have some different family heirloom pieces from either side, and coming together and then picking up a new piece. So like one new thing and something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, right? Come on.
Yeah, we do. And sometimes my jeweler that's in the store, in-house, she's really good at like fabricating, taking this part of this ring and this part of this necklace, and we could put this part of this ring and make a bail, for the necklace or something. She's good at putting parts together. So instead of just creating a whole new piece, it is a new piece, but it's from your parts.
Yeah.
Where if they don't want any of the metal, then we start out by sketch, and then we do a wax or a CAD and a wax, and then cast it and set it and everything.
Okay.
That's the more custom.
I was gonna say, what do you feel like the majority of jewelry, like engagement rings, stuff like that you sell? Is it guys come in, look at something off the shelf and say that's the one I want? Is it they bring an idea and they create it from nothing, or do they bring these components in and say, let's build a car?
Usually the ones that see something go, okay, that's the ring right there. They're usually a little older guys.
Yeah.
On the engagement rings, it's kind of easy where we don't usually build all the parts. Although with one customer, it was his grandfather's ring, and so we kept a part of the shank, which is the bottom part of his ring. We stuck it into her engagement ring. And he wanted to use the whole thing. I said, no, let's cut it in half. That way you'll have the same half matching for the wedding band. Oh. So, and because it meant very much to him and her to have the grandfather as part of it.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so we'll do stuff like that.
And I think that's like the most valuable piece of like jewelry in general is like the story behind it, like having that sentimental family heirloom.
Yes.
Speaking of, are there like other little ideas or like sentimental value things that you've seen customers do that like, how can some of these guys get some brownie points if they come together with like a really creative idea?
Sentimental. It depends if they have any family diamonds.
Yeah.
Okay, but you may want to check with her because your grandmother's marquee ring is maybe not what she wants.
That's what you get.
Yeah, but then we could take your grandma's marquee and put it in a necklace as a wedding present, or something like that. So, I mean...
Yeah, that is true. How do you balance, like, this is net new and your thing versus, like, oh, this is sentiment? I guess it depends on the bride.
Let the customer decide.
Yeah, right.
She going to be happy with this?
Yeah, right.
We want her to say yes.
Yeah. It's like, oh, sweetie, I love you, but you're going to have to go back and try this again. Like, no, thank you. No. I'm sure, like, what a fun time in people's lives to be a part of. Like pulling off the big surprise and being a part of that. I think it's awesome. We're going to go through, as we kind of wrap up, we have a few other things. We're going to answer some commonly asked questions when it comes to jewelry shopping and talk about outside of engagement and wedding rings, like fine jewelry. Like we have some listeners that maybe already married, maybe you've been married for 20 years and you want a creative idea on how to really win, how to wow this Christmas. We're going to give you some answers there. So we went through how much should you spend. I guess as you see, like determining, we said somewhere between the five, you see like the average 30-year-old spending between $5,000 and $20,000.
Yeah.
It's probably in there at like, $10,000, somewhere in there. Yeah. The thing we looked up is like, I think that was a marketing ploy built back in the day, which is such a good marketing job. Yes. When you say size, how should we be thinking of size? Like what size diamond should you get?
Well, if you're getting close to proposing, surely that has come up in conversation with her, you know, or talking to her friends. Most guys will say, I want at least a carat. Most of our sales are over a carat, whether natural or lab. Okay. When 30 years ago, we were lucky from a half carat to a carat.
Really?
Yeah. And so that's why there's a lot of trade-ins. They're now 30-year anniversary or whatever, and they want to trade that in on a bigger diamond. Most of them are at least a carat.
Okay.
And up. We do sell a little bit smaller.
We kind of start the process at 1 carat.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they can.
That's a weight, right?
Right.
Did you remember we talked about this earlier? That's a weight, not necessarily because you could have a 1 carat diamond that's X millimeters versus Y millimeters versus like all different like size. How long or tall or whatever it is not the same as how many carats it is.
Right. And it also depends if she's a bigger girl, where is it like a size 7 or 8, you want to go a little bit bigger, it's going to look real small on her.
Yeah.
Or if she's this real tiny girl, right under a carat, it's going to look like a carat and a half, or something like that.
Here we go.
So-
We were out here measuring hand sizes, gentlemen. Let's go. Next, we talked what should you choose for the band? White gold, yellow gold, not silver. Don't go into your jeweler and say, give me the silver one, because it's not silver.
The white gold looks like silver.
Yeah.
It's the color of silver.
White gold, yellow gold, platinum.
Yes.
What's the difference and how do they wear over time?
Okay, so gold is yellow. It's gold. Okay, but its gold is also soft. We had 3 different alloys to the gold to make it more wearable. So when we add more alloys, if it 14 karat gold, if you heard of the 10 karat, 14 karat, 18 karat, gold in its pure form is 24 karat. Okay, so 14 karat is actually 58.5% pure gold. The other percentage is the different alloys. So like 18 karat is 18 parts of the 24 are pure gold. The rest are the alloys. That comes out to 75%. Okay. If they want white gold, what we do is we add more nickel, which is one of the alloys, to the yellow gold. It gives it more of a silver look. Okay. But it always has a hint of yellowness to it because gold is gold. It's yellow. So what we do is we rhodium plate it, which rhodium's part of the platinum family. Okay. We rhodium plate it to give it a more shiny silver look. Eventually, you have to do that maybe every couple years or something. Everybody's used to it.
Yeah.
So that's your yellow and white gold. The platinum is a more denser, pure metal, because usually on platinum we use 90% or 900 or 950 of platinum, and the other alloys are all part of the platinum family. So it is, I'm going to get this confused, but one is tougher and one is stronger, or harder and stronger, than gold and platinum.
Yeah.
So
because gold, you said gold is softer. It's
right,
this
but
goes
we
down,
add the alloys to it, so it's durable every day.
What if you got 24 karat gold?
No.
Would that be soft?
Yeah, we'd be able to bend it.
No way.
Yeah.
So you really don't want a 24 karat gold ring?
No. Now in the Middle East they do. They use 18 karat and up. Anything below 18 karat is not gold.
Really?
Yeah, they use a lot of 21, 22 karat. Yeah, it's very soft.
And you can bend that?
Yeah.
Wow,
Some of it.
We're
Unless it's
talking
super thick.
We're talking the periodic table there, like of elements. You know,
Yes,
you think about
yes.
like where their density, right?
Right.
Where they line up there. So that's a common misconception, I would say. Like I would say, oh, you didn't get 24 karat gold. Like Bruno Mars made a song called 24 karat, and now everyone wants the gold pinky ring, right? But that's not actually practical.
Right.
So you want somewhere
not for
between
an everyday piece that you're wearing.
So
all
what's
the
like the
time.
typical yellow? If you got yellow gold, what carat do you want?
Usually 14.
14
14
karat.
standard. Pretty
14 is a standard. Okay.
Yes.
That's good to know. That's a common misconception.
Yeah.
So what would be the difference? Like what goes into buying yellow gold, white gold, platinum? How do you decide? Is it
Well,
just
if
strict
she's
color?
allergic to a lot of stuff, usually we go with platinum because all of them are non-allergic metals, gold and platinum. But it's the alloys we add. Okay, one of the alloys is nickel. A lot of people have nickel allergies, so they have to go with platinum.
What are the ones that like turn your skin a different color? When you get like, I've heard people talk about cheap. Yeah, if you get cheap, don't get cheap.
Yeah, no.
Okay, good. And that's just in general.
Yeah. Now, there can be reasons why they are, and it is gold because, they have soap scum up inside. It's too tight on their finger. They are around chemicals, stuff like that. And also, don't swim in your jewelry because it eats the alloys. And then it'll tear up the ring.
You hear? Don't swim. Okay.
The chlorine will eat it.
The simple question: how do you know, as the buyer, how do you know if the ring is good quality?
Oh, there's lots of things to look at.
Like if you just had to give like a top 3 or whatever, like if you wanted to walk into there and maybe let's say your father, soon to be father-in-law, is like, oh, I have a family jeweler. You really need to use this person. Okay. So they show up there. And obviously, besides the fact that you're taking their word for it, how do you know that you're not getting fleeced?
When we're talking about the diamond, the stones or the mounting, because things are marked on the inside of the ring, 14K or 14KT.
Yeah.
If you see the HGE after it, that's heavy gold electroplate. That's costume. On the diamonds.
That's costume?
Yeah, it's junk. when it says HGE.
Wow.
Or something like that.
Is that where you're like looking through the little thing?
Yeah, we buy a lot of over the counter.
Yeah.
Okay, we buy a lot of scrap gold because all the pieces that they're not using to do a custom or something, we buy them to give them credit or cash. And so the stones, we test them if they're diamonds. We have the new diamond testers that tell between the lab and the diamond. Yep. I look and I just do basically the 4 C's. You know, I look to see are there inclusions, how nice it's made, you know, et cetera. And color stones you don't get that much for on the secondary market, you know, unless it's something really fabulous and naturally colored, not heated, you know, stuff like that.
That's why you just have to go to a jeweler that you trust. You got to build the relationship early. Right. Don't show up saying, I need a ring tomorrow because I'm proposing tomorrow. You got to get out ahead of it. You could make it happen, but you need to build some trust along there.
Yeah.
Talk about jewelry for guys. You know, like I think a lot of them go in there and they just get some... They don't even know what they're getting. It's just like, oh, everyone talks about the girl's ring. No one talks about the guy's ring.
Yeah, what the guy gets 5 minutes.
Yeah, right? Like, what do you see? What does that process look like? What's popular?
Well, right now, the black zirconium is really popular.
Is that a little like black ring?
Yeah, it's kind of like blackish gray color. Black zirconium. Sometimes they go with tungsten, titanium, there's cobalt chrome, or they go with yellow gold or white gold. We've done a lot of just plain bands lately, either white or yellow gold. For the last couple of years, usually guys have been going with these alternative metals.
Yep.
Okay. But I've seen it kind of coming back to using yellow gold or white gold.
I feel like the timeless yellow gold ring is just like, that's just what it is.
Yeah. But you can, you know, have it not just the half-domed style that everybody has. You know, you can do flat with beveled edges or, you know, some grooves in it.
And I feel like getting gems in your... Like, I feel like guys are starting to get gems in their ring.
Yeah, some diamonds,
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Used to be very popular back in the 80s.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's an 80s thing? Okay. I think that's interesting.
But,
I know a
it
few of my
comes
friends.
back around. It's just like everything else.
Yeah, it's like, I want to get some... I need some bling. The last piece would be, outside of engagement rings, that whole wedding scene, what are some pieces that are timeless that could really light up a Christmas morning or a Valentine's Day? And what are things to keep in mind?
Well, we have a lot. You have diamond jewelry, like diamond bracelet, necklaces, earrings. We have a lot of color stones. Since I'm a GG, I know color.
What is GG?
Graduate gemologist.
Graduate gemologist,
yes. So I know what to look for when I'm purchasing the stones, the gemstones, and so I always get the nicer quality.
Yeah.
And we try and buy things that are different that you're not going to see everywhere else.
Yeah.
And we get that a lot from our customers. Oh, this looks so cool. You know, I have never seen this, etc. One of the stones is opal. Okay, opal from Australia. We actually do our opal has gotten so popular in our store, we are actually doing a trunk show again for the 17th year in October. It's October's birthstone.
Ooh, opal.
So all our cases will be full of opals, and that's all we do for 2 days. So, but another thing, like sapphires, rubies, emeralds, all of these stones have birth months, okay? So like the birthstone for May is emerald. For September, it's sapphire. So a lot of people like their birthstone.
Yeah, a ton of,
And some do, some don't. Another thing is push presents.
Yes, those are popular.
A lot of those will be the birthstone for the baby.
Oh, that's a good,
Yeah.
If you had to give one recommendation on how a guy could really wow their significant other on this upcoming Christmas, what would that be? What do they need to get?
That would be having a package under the tree wrapped in Khamis Fine Jewelers wrapping paper.
Right? Exactly.
No.
Wait, do you guys wrap gifts?
Free wrapping.
Free?
Gift
You hear
wrapping.
that?
All
Come
right.
on.
Yes.
Yeah. What would the thing be?
Some women want diamond studs. You know, some want a necklace or a tennis bracelet, a birthstone. It just depends. Some women would love a pair of gold hoops. We carry all of that to fit everybody's needs.
You just have to kind of do a little bit of research, ask some questions. Well, hey, Mary, thank you so much for coming on and sharing as our resident Indiana expert in the diamond industry. If people want to learn more about Khamis Fine Jewelers, if they want to maybe they have a big question coming up down the road, how can they find you? How can they get in contact?
The store is at 82nd and Fall Creek. The store number is 841-8440-317. That's usually the best. That or my cell.
There, right.
So
look at that. And if you look on our website, obviously,
Yes.
all of our hidden gems are brought to you by Khamis Fine Jewelers. They are an awesome partner of ours. And I have to ask.
The City of Geist. All of Geist.
There's a
the
spot.
Restaurants.
There's a spot right by you that it would be the ultimate hidden gem.
Which one's that?
The ice cream joint.
Oh, across the street.
Yeah.
That is a good one. There's so many good ones in that area. I could not pick a restaurant.
That's fair.
Because there's AJ's, there's just everybody around. We go to the Grill, we go to Wolfie's, even El Lago Mexican restaurant.
Right, that's not bad. Yeah.
They're the best.
I went to Sundays right there.
Yes.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah,
they have really good ice cream.
Yes.
Well, hey, we appreciate you. We appreciate the info. I think this did a great job of at least setting expectations.
Yeah.
I feel like it could be maybe a reason that it kind of like some guys like drag their feet a little bit. It's like, that's an overwhelming experience. You're going to go in there. You're going to make this huge purchase. You have no idea what they're selling you and talking about even.
Right.
Now at least you know the 4 C's. You know like what to expect, what the process is going to look like. And you have a trustworthy friend in the diamond industry. We'll take that, right? We appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. And we'll talk soon.
All right.
That's a wrap. That's all we have for you today. I'm eager to see if Sauce Gardner is going to get any action on Sunday. Kickoff's at 9:30 across the pond. Also, let us know. Shoot me an email, drop a comment. What do we think about the casino? How would you make the perfect casino in downtown Indianapolis? What do we think about the TV deal? If you like more of these style of episodes, let us know. Drop a comment, leave us a review. Hopefully we're going to come in on Fridays, do more of this news style, breaking these down, as long as you guys like it. And, of course, we can't forget our exclusive interview all about buying fine jewelry with Mary Khamis. If you want to get connected with her, let me know. Again, shoot me an email, nate@natespangle.com. We can make that happen. We appreciate you all listening. I hope you have the greatest weekend that you've ever had in your entire life. We'll see you back here on Monday.